Welcome to the Starting Over podcast training series. I am your host, Edward Shelton, aka Dark Logos. And in this episode, we are going to be looking at Outwit. Outwit is a very interesting power that it can change the tide of battle really easily by taking away your opponent's defensive ability or just getting rid of your own opponent's outwit so that your ability that was taken away from you is now restored. There's multiple applications for outwit, and it can be one of those powers that can make or break a game depending on the lineup. So let's go ahead and read Outwit. Outwit. During your turn, give this character a free action to counter a power or a combat ability possessed by a single target opposing character until the beginning of your next turn. Any game effects with a duration specified by the countered power or combat ability are removed. A character using this power must be within 10 squares in line of fire of the target. So what do we want to really combine with Outwit? Well, stealth is usually one of the first things, or a stealth-based team ability like Batman team ability. Another thing that we might want to consider is Ultimate's Avengers Initiative or Superman team ability that allows us to see through stealth so that no matter what, as long as we have line of fire, we can use Outwit. Another thing for us to really consider with our Outwitter is that we want our Outwitter to survive. Definitely survive. So by making sure that the figure also has some other form of defense, such as barrier, super senses, even willpower, so they can just up and run away if need be with leap climb, allows a lot more maneuverability than otherwise suggested. It really does make a big difference. I will say this. Having your Outwitter being your support versus Outwit appearing on a major attacker is two different things, because if you have Outwit that appears on a major attacker, of course you're going to have them up in the fray and in the firefight. But if that figure's main job is Outwit, then we're just going to let them hang back. Okay, so definitely the stealth matters a little bit more with them hanging back. Also, wild card team abilities with Outwit is ridiculously good because you can, copy Avengers Initiative or copy Batman if you have it. You can copy the team abilities that you need. Another great thing to understand with Outwit is that since it's a free action, you can always do a power action afterward and just pick whatever power action your team needs. So if you need barrier, use it. If you want to maximize the fact that you're just sitting there, defend is also good. But I will be mindful with defend is that you still have to expose your Outwitter so that they can get line of fire. Okay? All right, so let's sort of go into a little bit more nuance with using Outwit. Our first thing that we have to say is, what are our disadvantages? Power Cosmic, number one disadvantage. Power Cosmic and Quintessence. Though they negate our ability to outwit. Those figures cannot be outwitted. Another disadvantage that we have to look at is our opponent having more outwits than we do. Okay, now outwit, depending on the meta that you're in, can be a very prized power, and I really think it's like number 2 or 3 on the power level list of the top powers in the game. Sometimes Perplex is better, sometimes Prob is better. Outwit doesn't always negate them because there is times where either A, you can't outwit, or B, your opponent only has one thing to outwit, and really it's not worth it. Okay, so outwit always has decreasing value as the game goes on. That's another disadvantage. Let's look at our advantages. Okay, if we have more outwits than our opponent, then we can outwit their outwit and then outwit something else. Okay, or more along the lines of, if we have just one outwit, our opponent doesn't have outwit, we can get rid of our opponent's support powers. Okay, and this is one of the key things not to overlook. Even if your play sphere has a lot of power cosmic and quintessence roaming around, if you are in a position where your opponent's support is still exposed in that middle area, that midfield, then by having outwit, you are now able to get rid of that pesky prob, get rid of that pesky perplex. They no longer have enhancement if you're able to draw line of fire, or even more so, they can't run back and use support. Uh, all those things add up. You also can take away your opponent's defensive abilities, which will allow you to do pure damage, or in some other games it's called true damage, to your opponent, so that they can't reduce it down, or even more so, they can't use their shape change or super senses to get out of it. Okay? So Outwit's main goal is to say there's something on my opponent's team that I want to get rid of and make sure that they can't use it. And your goal is to make sure that every turn that your Outwitter is in a position so that they can fully utilize that positioning. Okay? All right, so how are we going to use Outwit? All right, we're going to do a 300-point team, and we're just going to pack 2 Outwitters of your choice. Go through the game. Make sure the opposing team that you're practicing against doesn't have any power, cosmic, or quintessence, just for the pure training methodology, and then see what happens. Then in your third game, yes, you are going to do 2 games first before this. On your third game, introduce a power, cosmic, or quintessence figure. I preferably not like Galactus, okay? Nothing like that. But just something, that's maybe less than 200 points. Yeah, less than 200 points that has power, cosmic, or quintessence. And then see what happens and what changes and how roles shift. Okay? All right, that's it. I'm glad that you listened to this video, and I will see you in the next video.